Hello, Lisa.
Hi, Cathrin. Good to see
Hi,
you.
hi, nice to see you. So good to have today our next Get Mindful talk. It's already the 21st one. And as we decided, topic of today's talk will be aware of being aware. And it's like the logical follow-up of our focus of last week, which was the focus of meditation. And just to make a quick recap, we talked about that the goal of meditation is not like to get a really good meditator, but to learn to be aware of what is, and not only to be aware of what is during the meditation, but also in your everyday life. And that every time you are starting to analyzing what you are aware of, which is a sound or a thought, that you train yourself in letting go. This was the focus of last week Thursday's work.
Be careful not that we analyze what we're aware of, but every time we become aware of the fact that we are aware of something, we are back into the present moment. So not analyzing. If we're analyzing what we're aware of, we're back in the mind.
Exactly, and this we want to let go of.
This is what we want to let
go of. And this is when we have to go back in the passenger seat because we use this metaphor. And exactly, and this is exactly what we want now to focus on. We want to be aware of being aware. So it's exactly what you've just said, that we are just noticing it without thinking about it, without thinking about why is the sound or thought or whatever here, or what does it mean, just being aware of that it is there. Right.
Being aware that we are here. I think we tend to, when we talk about being aware of being aware, it's different than being aware of something, of an object, because we tend to, what we spoke about before, is allowing ourselves to become aware of objects or phenomena, events in the present moment. So being aware of something, being aware of something outside of ourselves. And if I'm, even being aware of our thoughts, because we need to look at our thoughts as an external object. So this being aware of objects and phenomena, or being aware of the body, but it's always kind of being aware of something, of some kind of an object. And being aware of being aware is a little bit different than this. I know we've
exactly
talked about this many times,
it
right?
would be, it would be great if you can just describe what's now the difference between this being aware of an object, which has been the topic of last week with the different meditation we've talked about, etc., and now the topic of today, being aware of being aware, because we want to go a step further. So just let us know what do we mean with being aware of being aware and not being aware of the objects.
Being aware is waking up to the fact that we are aware, that that we're conscious, that we are aware, and not aware of something, but simply being aware that we are aware. So it's kind of consciousness turning back on itself. It sounds highly complex, and what the hell are you talking about? But it's really not, once you kind of get the gist of what I'm saying. And I think it's best explained by asking yourself the question. If we ask ourselves the question, am I aware? And am I awake? Am I here? Am I aware? And to answer that question, you have to look at, you kind of go inside. If somebody asks you, are you aware? You kind of stop and turn inward for a moment to make sure, am I conscious? Am I here? And then you realize, well, yes, I am, because I have to be aware, or I wouldn't have even heard that question. So of course I'm here. And that turning inward, that being aware that you are aware, this is what we're talking about. It's a very subtle kind of, it seems for many people, very insignificant thing, but this is a huge thing. Really, this is kind of everything. This is really where we want to go with our meditation, is to go to the being aware of being aware.
Yeah, and it's so significant because it's this wake-up moment we are talking about, right?
Exactly. It's this wake-up moment. It's this realization that I'm aware, that I'm conscious, that I'm here. That I'm participating, so to speak, in this reality, in this whole experience. So what I'm doing is I'm not becoming aware of any sense perception. Those would be objects. I'm not becoming aware of my body. That's also an object. I'm not becoming aware of my thoughts. I'm becoming aware of the fact that I am aware of these things, but I'm becoming aware of the fact that I am aware. And this is a wonderful realization, and it's a beautiful place to be, is to wake up to awareness itself. Because it is this awareness that is who I really am. That's really the me, or the I. That's the subject that is always referring to and perceiving all those objects, including the mind and the body and all those objects and phenomena. It really is the I.
Nothing less than knowing who we are. Yeah, coming back to the image we used last week with the meditation, there we said like go back to the passenger seat and then listen to it or observe your thoughts. And now being aware would be like looking at the awareness sitting on the passenger seat. Is it like this? Could we like follow up this image, or is it too difficult?
I think I'd leave this metaphor now. All metaphors are very helpful, but of course they're all very limited for a short period, and we have to let them go again. Because look at being aware of being aware. Awareness is not an object, because there's nothing there. Awareness is the subject.
Yeah.
The subject. It is that which perceives all objects, and so we can't really give it any qualities. So we can't really I hate to put it into a metaphor like that, because that immediately kind of gives it qualities. What we're doing is becoming aware of the subject that is aware of all those objects. So we're really kind of stepping into this subject-object relationship and realizing that we are the ultimate subject.
Yeah.
And of course, the subject has no qualities because there's nothing there to perceive. It is that which perceives.
Which perceives.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like this.
It's hard to put into words because it immediately sounds kind of confusing, because you think, what? But it's really not. If we shouldn't try to wrap our minds around it too much, or it gets kind of confusing.
Yeah.
Becoming aware of the subject, of the ultimate subject, that which is aware. And it's becoming aware of that. And that is simply this waking up, this feeling of, oh, here I am. Yeah. Oh, my. Yeah. And not taking that focus out and putting it onto any object.
Yeah.
Just this realization of, oh my gosh, here I am.
And assuming that we haven't lost our listener already, talking about the confusing or not confusing being aware of being aware. But I love how you phrased it, like the waking up moment is this, here I am. And this is a kind of like how I would phrase it, like the aim why we want to reach this. Exactly. Being aware of being aware, because this is the state which feels so good. This here I am. Let's go. So assuming we have still some who are interested in reaching this state of getting aware of being aware, how can we say what makes life then easier once we wake up to it? why is it like a goal to reach it? Why is it recommended to reach it?
Because this is ultimate peace. This is really ultimate peace, and this okayness that I'm always talking about. This okayness that kind of holds all of experience. That is this okayness. That is this peace. Because if you think about it, all objects come and go. Every object has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And this is all the objects outside of us that we can perceive, from the seasons of the year. Trees come and go, flowers come and go, people come and go, events come and go, situations come and go. And then if I look at, my body changes, my body will come and go. I do not have the same body now that I did 25, 35, 40 years ago. Certainly, it's changed multiple times. I think every 7 years you have a complete different different body. Really, my thoughts are not the same, so your thoughts come and go. The thoughts that you have now are not the same thoughts that you had. So all the things that we can perceive are transient. They come and go, and they have a beginning, a middle, and an end. But that which perceives them doesn't. That's always been the same. And I love that if you think about yourself now, and if you look back at a picture of yourself, or if you think back at yourself, say 10 years ago, and really go into that sensation of what were you thinking back then? What did you look like back then? Everything was different, but yet you had this feeling of I am. You had that feeling of AMness, if I can just say that, this AMness. And then if you go back again, I don't know how old our listeners are, if you go back again 10 years, everything was different. Your situation was different. Your thoughts were different. Your body was, again, completely different. And yet you still had this exact same feeling of AMness. And if we go all the way back to our very first memory, most people will have it between 3 and 5 years old, or maybe a little bit older. It's not important. If you think of yourself, then gosh, your body was completely different. Your thoughts were completely different, everything was different about you. And yet you still had this feeling of AMness. You still had this feeling of I am. And this is something that never changes. And it's always there. It always has the same feeling quality, although quality is kind of a bad word, but I'm going to use that right now. It's always that same feeling of AMness that has always been with you. And it has never changed. And everybody has this. Every person, every animal, every sentient being, that's the kind of the meaning of sentience, this feeling of AMness, and that never changes. And this is a beautiful, freeing, liberating thought, because everything that comes and goes and tortures me a little bit or is uncomfortable, but even that which is comfortable, it will come and it will go and it will pass. So everything passes, but that AMness is always there. And it's always under, behind, around all those objects, feelings, and thoughts that come and go. And that's a lovely, liberating thought to be there, and to be that AMness. That is so stable and untouched and untraumatized and unhurt. And it's very safe.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much for this explanation. This was really, really good, and so how to say? So giving the incentive to go for it, to find the AMness more and more often. But now I know what you're talking about, and I guess this is also why it's so good when we are more frequently connecting with our AMness, with this being aware of being aware, because there will be drama and there will be events in our life which brings us, or at least me, quickly away from this AMness. So the everyday life is it's yeah, I think I would say in our Western world and with all the external influences and everything we have in social media and our way of working, we have so many external inputs. Yeah, it's difficult to be in this life and be like constantly in this mode. But therefore, it's even more required to frequently connect and to get it back, this connection with this AMness, which is always there, to get again this inner calmness, this inner peace, and
Well,
because
well, I want to touch on that.
yeah,
I want to interrupt for a short moment.
yeah, sure,
Said before to find this. Finding, we don't need to find that. We just need to reconnect because it's always there. This
yeah,
is always there. The subject, if you are aware of anything, that AMness must be there. So if we
yeah,
are in any way aware of anything, then awareness is there. And so it's always there. We just need to return to it. We just need, we just need to reconnect
yeah.
to the
Connect is better
AMness.
word than finding, yeah,
And the AMness is the peace. And you're right there. The AMness is this kind of timeless, ultimate, untouched peace, because all it is aware. And yet it is aware of often the unpeacefulness and the messiness
yeah,
of life. And this is, but the awareness itself is untouched by all that messiness and
yeah.
with kids crying, maybe the drama and the things that will still arise, but that subject, that awareness is that which kind of is in the background and untouched by all the ups and downs
Yeah,
of
yeah,
life.
yeah. And how would you say it? Is it that when we, how did you say, return to our that we are then in this mode which allows us to take kind of better decisions or more this intuitive decisions, and avoid taking decisions from this dysfunctional rational thinking?
I would say yes, definitely. Touching back as often as possible to the subject, remembering, that we are, it's more like a remembering
Yeah,
that we are actually the subject and not the object. Remembering that kind of reconnects us to that ultimate stillness. And I think it helps us again gain distance to the drama that might be unfolding around us, and getting all caught up in the objects of existence, kind of getting caught up in all of that which is happening around us and we think is happening in us, the emotions and sort of that kind of dramatic cocktail of existence that makes it often, as you say, very hard to make decisions, or you begin questioning decisions, and that's also part of the drama of, I don't know what I should do. And stepping back and remembering that awareness and connecting to that awareness also helps remind us, everything comes and goes and everything passes, and each decision that we make is just a decision. It helps us gain that necessary
yeah,
equanimity, if we want to use that word, towards all the questions that we have in our minds and all the decisions that we want to take.
yeah,
And, should we do this or do we do that? So yeah, in that way, I think it does. It gives us that remembrance that everything is okay. Ultimately, everything is okay. And sure, there are things in our life that, this one decision may make some things easier and some things more difficult, and other decisions have, different effects on our relative existence. But the
yeah,
more we touch back on that awareness, on that subjectivity, on that, more we're aware that just that awareness, that subject, the less rigid and less dramatic all that stuff seems. That
Mhm.
then It does help us make better, it does help us feel more grounded around our actions, because we're not so caught up in what the possible consequences are, because we really do connect back to the fact that all that comes and goes, so it's okay.
Yeah.
So it is. I think that's the ultimate okayness.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because I was also thinking to make it maybe more touchable or understandable. So when we imagine like a work situation and I want to get done something, but it kind of brings me out of my comfort zone. Like it's okay, I have to be like brave and I have to do something which I would like to do, but it's not like easy going. It's not my daily task. And how we can bring this together so that, and I think just in your last sentences, you just made a very good like proposal or link to it, that in these situations where we think it is really difficult or it's absolutely important that this email or presentation or document, whatever, is like perfect because this and that person will see it or receive it, that we take a little bit the power of this task or decision, and say, okay, like everything is coming and going, and of course we can do our best and to do it good or very good, but it's all okay. So even if it takes another journey than you thought, it also will lead to something good.
That too is definitely. And I think we also, you were talking about this email having to get out and doing things outside of your comfort zone. I think what happens in particular with people who are on a quote unquote spiritual journey, they tend to think or feel, I include myself here, that you should be a certain way, that that shouldn't bother me, I should be okay about that, this shouldn't. And so we have an enormous resistance to our own persona, to the way that our emotions, and resistance to the way we deal with things, and feeling like, oh, I should be past this, oh my God, I should know all this. And being aware of being aware helps you step out behind the reactions to your reactions, the resistance to who you think you are. So we have emotion on top of emotion on top of resistance on top of resistance, and it's a very complex, multi-layered existence that we have out here. Experience, let's put it that way. There's so many things going on within us, and we get all caught up in seeing that and allowing that, and oh, we shouldn't be doing this and having that. So it's all very multi-layered and complex. And if we can just relax all of that and step back and remember, we just see it. Just, you are that, which just touch back on this awareness, this knowledge that's there, and this feeling sense of AMness, just this ultimate AMness, which was there long before any of this ever happened, long before the decision was to be made, and long before we felt we were outside of our comfort, long before the comfort zone was even created, long before we thought we were out of the comfort zone, and long before we thought we shouldn't be upset because we're outside of the comfort zone. And before all of that was just this simple awareness, that which was in us as at the moment we were born, perhaps beforehand. I don't want to too terribly much right now, but this, this since time immemorial, this simple awareness, this awakeness within us, which is peering out our two eyes, which is perceiving with our bodies, which is hearing with our ears.
Yeah.
It's always been there and it's never changed. And so all that drama of, oh my God, this decision, and oh my God, outside of this comfort zone, and oh my God, this email, that will all pass, you know, and it has a short span of torture, and it passes. And beneath all of that is this very quiet, never moving, completely impartial, non-judging awareness.
Yeah, but also knowing that it all will pass, we kind of have to get it done. Like there are tasks in our life which we have to get done. And I'm wondering whether we can use, or I would say I personally use it for that, this like reconnecting with this AMness, or with this inner peace, kindness, however you want to call it, gives us kind of power to get it done. Sounds like a to-do list, but to handle our daily life in a kind of more easygoing way.
Yeah, it helps us step out of the drama of being who we are.
Yeah,
it gives you I don't want to use this word again, but I'm going to. It gives us a different perspective. It takes away perspective, as it were.
Yeah.
Stepping out of the drama of our lives and just seeing it and realizing that all the drama passes. And all the good stuff, all the bad stuff, all the comfort zone, all that passes. Because it always has. You know, we check back on it and it's always moved on past us. And we've been always clean and unscathed. And noticing that's kind of the ultimate passenger seat, if you wish that. You know, if you say consciousness is kind of this, or you know, this focusing, the consciousness will drive around and will focus on certain things. You know, we focus on and then maybe we'll focus on, well, maybe something in the background, we'll hear a noise and we'll focus on that, and consciousness will sort of move around and focus on different things in our life as needed, or you know, as consciousness is interested in things, or as our interest is peaked. And we're kind of just, and if we just allow that, if we allow that's the ultimate passenger seat. And we're just sort of, but we're awake, you know, not allowing it and falling asleep, but allowing it and staying awake and seeing, you know, kind of where our consciousness kind of goes in our existence. It's automatically going to be pulled to the one or other situation or object. Right now, you know, we're focusing on each other, you know, and on this conversation. And that's very natural, because it's what the situation also kind of requires from us. So it's very practical also that we're doing that. And as I'm focusing on you and you are focusing on me, we both can wake up to the fact that actually, you know, we're awake. Here we are. And that kind of is always in the background. And if you always kind of check in on that and notice, where awareness has gone at this moment, you know, what you are aware of, and then realize, okay, this being aware of something is given out of the situation, and awareness is doing that. I don't have to force awareness to do anything. It's just focusing on the things in life that are practical and kind of come up, you know, like right now, practical, that we're kind of focused on each other. It's helpful. And I can wake up to the fact that here I am. Here I am. Wow. And that's just so cool. That's just so liberating. And I can still carry on in life just completely normally, but without getting caught, much less getting caught up in the drama of it all.
Yeah.
If you wish, we go back to the ultimate passenger seat.
Yeah. It was a nice like closing the circle just at the end of our talk, that I got you to squeeze in the being aware of the passenger seat. So we have the picture, the metaphor complete. Yeah, and you just mentioned at the very end, it's so liberating to reconnect with the AMness, with being aware of being aware. So yeah, let us quickly summarize our easy, not so easy topic of today. You you said like there is that easy question to check if you're aware when you are asking yourself, am I aware, am I awake? And this means that you are aware of where your consciousness is right now, in which situation you are, and what you are focusing on, etc. And it's so helpful to reconnect and rejoin this AMness which was always there, and also to know that 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it was always there. This AMness, also your body, your thoughts, your life situation has been completely different, and this is this underlying and ultimate piece which helps us so much in our daily life to step back from the drama, and which means that we can do all the stuff we are doing in our daily lives, but just without involving too much into that is like really about us, that stepping into the drama. We when we are more connected with our AMness, we have this, I would say, healthy distance to what's happening in our life, and we get less caught up in the consequences of our decision, which also helps us in decision taking. And ultimately leads to a very much liberated life. Just to quickly have it sum up. And then I would say we will talk to each other soon on the next topic. Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.